And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. So don't worry too much. Somebody's interested in everything. And anything you can be interested in, you'll find others will. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like.
Finally got a truck. I made the decision. I had talked to some friends. They had given me some input. I asked you guys and got tons and tons of input, which really reaffirmed what they were saying. I also talked to Rich from the Boss Garage. He has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of diesel truck stuff, and I got his input just because he's worked on like all these different diesel trucks, and that's the main thing for me. And it's funny because like I'm buying a newer vehicle, but in my head is always how hard is it to work on, and that is like crucial to me because I'm going to be working on it myself. I'm not just going to drop it off somewhere and have them fix it. So if it's going to suck to work on, I might get the worst version of something or the worst something just because it's easier to work on. You know, maybe there's a better option, but it sucks to work on. So it's kind of funny. Like me and John were talking about it, and I'm like, why do we focus so hard on that? But it's just because it's just the way it is, you know, especially buying used vehicles. So you never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get.
So again, based on all that information, it seemed like the clear choice was a Duramax. So like I told you guys before, I was very focused on getting like a crew cab 06, 07, well it'd be like 06 and a half, late 06, 07 truck. So I'd have the LBZ motor, which has stronger internals, and the 6-speed Allison trans instead of the 5-speed. So first gen is LB7, that's like 01 to early 04, and I guess they had injector issues and head gasket issues or something. I mean, they're still good from what I understand. That's what Grafton has. And then 04 and a half to 05, 06 is LLY, which is better. A lot of those issues are fixed. And then obviously LBZ. So that's what I was looking for. I messaged Brad at Suncoast, sent him a couple of links to trucks I was looking at, and they were 2-wheel drive, but they were the LBZ with the 5-speed. And he was like, you should really get a 4-wheel drive. The suspension's different. They ride different. You know, it's definitely worth getting a 4-wheel drive. Plus, 4-wheel drive trucks hold their value a lot better. And it is nice to have, like, let's say I'm going across country up in a mountain somewhere and there's snow and I need to use it. Like, it's definitely nice to have. It's not really crucial for me. I'm not going to go mudding, but it's worth having, right? So he's like, are you dead set on a crew cab? Because that's what I was looking at. I'm like, you know what? I'm not. I just was stuck in this mentality where I was trying to go polar opposite of what I had. You know, I had single cab, older truck, whatever. So I wanted like the newest truck I could get, crew cab, like just polar opposites. I'm like, an extended cab's gonna work just fine, especially in a Chevy. The extended cabs are really big. So I started looking for the extended cab trucks, and I decided, you know, instead of trying to spend all my budget at $15K or so, why don't I spend under budget, try to keep it under 10 grand, and then that way I can put that money aside for a fun project down the road. You know, once the vet's gone and once I have room to get another vet type vehicle, you know, like I really would love to do like a single cab short bed Chevy truck with like a sloppy turbo kit on it and make like 500-600 wheel. He just made 600 on his 4.8 at 16 pounds. Like something like that would be really cool. And I'm like, no matter how nice the truck is, I'm gonna get sick of dailying a big truck. Like not sick of it, but I'm gonna want to have another vehicle that I can daily that's small and quick or whatever, you know. Like I know even if it was a brand new Platinum F250, like I'll probably not want to drive it every day, right? So that was my mentality. Went looking for a truck, came across this one on Facebook Marketplace. I think it was listed for, they had dropped the price down to a little over 10, and it looked mint. It had right over 200,000 miles, so I was like, oh, like I really wanted to stay under 200,000, but mileage isn't the overall important factor. Like maintenance is a lot more important in my opinion and in my experience than mileage. Something that have 200,000 miles and be in better shape than 100,000 miles. Obviously, components are going to wear as they will. The more mileage, the more they'll wear. But I don't see mileage as everything. So I was like, okay, it's just over where I wanted to be, but it looks really nice. Looks really well taken care of. So I hit him up. We negotiated back and forth. And I basically ended up getting it for what I sold my truck for, plus $350 that I sold my camera for. Basically, my truck and $350. I got the truck that I'm going to show you in a second. I just want to explain all this stuff real quick. So a couple things that I want to note. When buying a used vehicle, there's a couple things that to me are green flags. They're not necessarily red flags if they don't happen, but they're definitely green flags if they do. So, green flag number one, the person wants you to meet them at their house. If they just give you their home address when you say you want to come look at it, that's a really good green flag. It's not a red flag, because if they don't do it, because you know, people are just cautious, like they don't want to necessarily meet some stranger at their house. But if they want to meet you at their house, then they're probably not trying to sell you some piece of junk, because if they were, they wouldn't want you to know where they live. Like, it might still be a piece of junk, but they probably don't know. Other thing is if they tell you about the little things. So they were telling me about how there's like a small issue where when you set the AC, sometimes it won't want to stay where it's set, and it'll blow a little warmer or a little colder than where you set it, because it's got digital climate control. And like, that's not a big issue, and it's intermittent, so I probably could have gone there, checked the car out, and it actually hasn't happened the entire time I've had it. So that's one of those issues that they could have swept under the rug, and if it came up, they're like, oh man, I don't know why that happened. I have no idea, you know? But instead of that, they told me because they wanted to be honest. And that's a good sign that they're not hiding other major issues. Again, all of these are subjective. Like, it could be totally different. They could still be a pile and they know about it with all these things in mind. But things like that I find important. So it gave me a really good feeling heading down into this, that the truck was going to be a really nice truck. Ironically, Adam's friend was selling an 06 crew cab for like a really good price, and it was like a couple grand more than I was gonna get this one for. But you know, it should have been the LBZ and the 6-speed trans, and I was like, oh man, what do I do? I'm like, this one looks really nice. Grafton talked me out of it. He's like, we're just gonna go look at this one, you know. And I'm like, you're right, if it's as nice as it looks, we'll get this one. Luckily, that crew cab was actually an 05, which means it would be the same drivetrain as this one, and there was really only advantage was crew cab instead of extended cab. So anyway, let's go look at the truck. So this is what I got. It's a 2004.5 GMC Sierra 2500 HD. So it has the newer LLY engine that had, you know, presumably less issues. It's extended cab, short bed, which is what I wanted, because as much as I love the utility of a long bed, I like the size of a vehicle with a short bed, especially something I'm gonna daily, you know, not being like 18 feet out of the parking space because you're driving a school bus. It came with this topper, which is actually a really nice topper. It's paint matched. It's like designed specifically for this vehicle. It's got the side windows. I really want to take it off just for when I'm not going like out of town to drift events. But then if I'm gonna go out of town, stay at a hotel, camp, whatever, put it on. That way, you know, if we stay at a hotel or whatever, I can lock all my stuff up in it. Obviously someone can still break in, but it's a deterrent rather than having my nice wheels and my pit bike and stuff just out in the open ready for grabs. It's got some off-road tires that definitely need to be replaced. The tread's pretty worn down in the center, but I want to do some BC forged wheels on it with like 33s, which these are 32.8, so it won't be much bigger than this. Like, do a front leveling kit. We'll get into all of that later. But the interior is mint. The driver's seat has like some cracking in the leather, but it's power heated seats, you know, dual buckets with the center console instead of the flip down bench. Let's open this beast up. It's the SLT model, so it's like fully loaded, all the options. Like, there's still plenty of room back here. I mean, the main thing is if it's me and somebody else, being able to like throw our backpacks and stuff back here, luggage, whatever, you know, and have room, not have just this. So we got our bags like piled up here and stuff. That makes a big difference. It's in really nice shape. Like I said, it has a digital climate control, Bose sound system. I really like that the 2500s come with a trans temp gauge. Oh, you can't really see it. So it's got a trans temp gauge factory, so that's really convenient. It's got right over 200,000 miles on it. Pop the hood here. It was garage kept, so you guys probably can't tell in the video. Let me walk over here where the sun's not blinding us. The paint is beautiful on it. It's the best paint out of any vehicle I have ever owned. No clear coat PO anywhere, no crazy scratches or swirl marks. There's like one little ding back here. Other than that, it is mint. I am mind blown at how nice this truck is. I can't believe they garage kept a truck, you know, a big truck like this. Bone stock, stock exhaust, stock intake, stock everything. Very well taken care of. No leaks at all. You probably won't be able to see. But the bottom of this thing is completely bone dry. The trans, the oil pan, everything. Bone dry, which is amazing. Normally you at least have like oil on the pan and stuff from like light leaks, but nothing. frame rails, mint, no rust anywhere. This truck hasn't spent a day up north. I mean, it is really nice underneath. What else can I show you guys? Guess we'll fire it up. I am so pleased with this thing because, like I said, I was so stuck on getting a newer truck. And this is like all the newness I wanted. It drives so nice. It's super comfortable inside, super roomy. It's got all the nice power options that I wanted. It'll tow pretty much anything that I want to tow with it. It's got great brakes. You know, it drives like a new vehicle, and that's the biggest thing because, you know, I love my first gen, but you bounced all over the place, and like I said, you couldn't go really over 70. It was just kind of like max on the highway. It was screaming. Like this thing, I can cruise control 75, no problems. Like it's like driving a new vehicle, and that I'm really excited about because that was, again, one of my biggest things that I wanted was something I could just get in and be comfortable cruising across country if I wanted to, and that is this. And I'm beyond stoked about that. Like it's just so exciting. Like I've been driving it for the past couple of days since I bought it, and I've just been loving it. It's like such a comfortable truck to just drive around, and so happy about this thing, man. I'm so stoked on this. So I got a trailer brake controller, which is convenient. Grafton just towed my trailer, and I could never get the brakes to work with my truck, but it must have been my truck wiring because he said the brakes worked great with his truck. So it must have been something with my wiring to my brake controller and trailer connector on the truck side of things that was causing me issues with my trailer brakes. So that's good to know. I'm just so excited to tow with this. I'm so excited to be able to just chill and cruise and not be stressed out worrying if it's going to overheat and being thrown out of my seat over like crappy bumps in the road and all sorts of stuff like that. I guess we'll go take it for a drive. So the previous owner has owned this thing since 70,000 miles, and that's one of those things where it's not necessarily a red flag if, you know, they haven't owned it that long, but it does always concern me if someone bought it, never even put it in their name, and they're selling it, you know. And especially if you catch them in a lie, if they're like, oh yeah, this thing's great, it's been great to me, and they've never even registered it, you're like, oh, that's obviously not true. So that was a good thing when I noticed that, when I, you know, saw the title and was like, wow, you registered this thing in 07, it had 70,000 miles on it, you've owned it ever since. That is awesome. That's like really good sign. Also, he had the injectors replaced under warranty sometime after he bought it, so that's good. They're newer than 200,000 miles, so that's a good sign as well. I think he had the injector harness replaced with one that's a little bit longer. I guess that's like a thing. These were like a little too tight and they'd wear out or something, connectors or something. I don't know. But overall, very, very pleasant buying experience. The wife like almost cried when this thing drove away because they've had it since 07. It was his first diesel truck. He has like a newer Ford 6.7 truck now. They were really great people. They invited us into their house to do the paperwork and exchange money and all of that stuff, which another really good sign. Like if someone's, it doesn't mean that the vehicle isn't going to be messed up. Like it could totally still be messed up, but they probably don't know at that point. So future plans, mods wise, like part of me really the old man in me wants to keep this thing bone stock, not touch it, not mess with it, like super comfortable, daily driver, quiet, all of that stuff, you know, daily tow rig. But the fanboy in me absolutely wants to do some mods to it. I mean, like, it's kind of hard not to. I definitely think I want to at least do some BC forged wheels, like I said, and like 33-inch tires, which to do all that, I mean, these are almost 33, but to do that, again, I would have to do a leveling kit, which this thing could use some new shocks anyway. These, you can tell, it's a little bit bouncy over some bumps, so wouldn't hurt to do shocks. So I kind of really want to do that. That'll really set the look of the truck off. I really like the way this extended cab short bed looks, and I think with some wheels, an aggressive fitment, I think it'll look awesome. The other thing to do, from what I've been reading, downpipe and full exhaust are really good mods. You're going to be towing anything heavy because it brings your EGT temps down because it's less restriction. EGT on a diesel is like air-fuel ratio on a car. You know, it's very important to keep it in the right range. Otherwise, you melt pistons or you melt pistons. So that is one of the things that I was reading on this. So, and as much as I like it being quiet, hold on, we'll do a little full. Holy shit. This thing really gets into the boost up top. Jeez, this thing's quick, man. I can't believe how fast some of these trucks are. This thing's bone stock. But yeah, I really kind of want to do an exhaust just to hear it. I just don't want it to be so loud that like it drones. Like I don't want to be cruising across country and it just like loud and annoying. You know, I want it to still be nice, comfortable, quiet inside like it is now. But we'll probably do exhaust, EGR delete to keep the hot exhaust gases from recirculating back into the intake, thus raising the exhaust gas temperature. A tuner for like a tow tune. I think they have economy tunes too. Like I will not put a race tune on this thing. I do not want to break it. And the nice thing about this thing being under budget is like with the first gen, I got it because they're super stout, they're super reliable. You know, I can buy a motor for like $2,000 and put it in or less, you know, 1,500 bucks, you know, easy to work on. And that was my whole mentality was, you know, I really can't afford for this truck to break. But it was just kind of terrible at what I wanted to do, you know, like I'm not going to go 65 cross country. I think it wouldn't be great towing something like an enclosed and whatever. So this is a much better vehicle for what I want to do. But, you know, it is a more complex diesel. It's going to be harder to work on. It is going to be more expensive if it breaks. But luckily, since it's so far under budget, we should be okay. We're not going to be screwed if it breaks. And that's kind of the nice thing about doing this instead of spending all of my budget, because if it did break, you know, it could break either way. You could buy the most expensive truck you want, it could still break. So, you know, we also have room down the road, maybe do like a cool turbo truck, like a gas truck, but that's part of why I won't put a race tune on this. Like this doesn't need to be my fast vehicle, it just needs to tow well. So, you know, minimal mods, I just really want to do mods for longevity, reliability, and then looks, just the wheels and stuff. I think that'll really make it look sweet. So that's really it. That's really all I have in store for this thing, and just cruise it. And a lot of you said, you know, you'll get used to driving a full-size truck as a daily, like in no time, and you are 100% right. Like I'm already loving daily in this thing more than my vet, because it's just so comfortable and chill. I could hold a conversation and not even pay attention to shifting, but I could have raced that Mustang that just drove by. Couldn't do that in this. I guess I could. People race people in diesel trucks all the time. We're showing it to the parts store now. Again, that's pretty much all I can think of. If you guys have any input on these trucks, like stuff to do, preventative maintenance, longevity mods, reliability stuff, if you know stuff about wheel sizing, you know, what fits, what doesn't, what rubs, what doesn't, good leveling kit companies, good shocks to use, you know, anything and everything, let me know in the comments below. You guys are always super helpful. You really make a big difference in me learning tons of things without having to like scour the internet. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate all your input and support. You guys are awesome. Without you guys, none of this would be possible, and we're much closer to our dream of traveling the country and drifting, and that is like, oh, it's so exciting. I want to go tow something right now. I want to go. There's no drift events this weekend. I wish I could just hook my trailer up and go tow my car somewhere. Like I want to use this thing because it just feels like it's going to tow great. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to get some parts and get started on the next video. So I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.